Hello and welcome. My name is Ella Cushman, and this is my presentation on Iceland Policing. My student number is 2004-75907. Introduction. The Iceland Police Force, known as Lögreglan, is the national police force of Iceland. Today we'll be looking at the history of policing, where it is today, police powers, the training and recruitment, use of force, and crime rates in Iceland. History of policing in Iceland started in 1262. Iceland submitted a request to the Norwegian crown, and they concluded a special agreement where they would hand some of their power to the people that would be known as the royal law enforcers, and royal officials would elect these people. They were known as sheriffs. They were expected to arrest thieves and violent criminals. The sheriffs were the policemen during that time, and then we would move into 1752. This is when we saw the beginning of a project that was launched by a company called Innréttingar. They launched the Reykjavik, which is the police, kind of. They established watchmen that were the modern-day police. They would patrol properties, raise alarm to any events, and they were expected to look out for any usual or unusual activity. Eventually, it became its own jurisdiction, and the policemen were starting on their way. It wasn't until 1972 the Police Act was amended, with the allowance for the state to bear all cost of general law enforcement in Iceland. Thus, the police became civil servants instead of local authority employees. Other provisions defined the role of police for the first time and laid down clear rules than before on the command structure. Ever since this act was passed, there has only been one police force in Iceland, the National Police, subject to and maintained by central government. Iceland is a very progressive country in itself. The evolution of policing in the country is very interesting, and how they had a king government to judicial system. Police powers in Iceland are different from ours in Canada. Instead of the criminal code, they have the general penal code. Even though this is their criminal code, the police in Iceland get their powers from the Ministry of Justice, and the police have their own act. In English, it is called police law. This is where they get their police powers and what rules they have to follow. In this act, there is the role of a police officer. And I'm going to read Chapter 1, the role of police, etc. Article 1, Role 1. The state maintains police operations. 2. The role of police is to safeguard public security and maintain law and order, seek to ensure legal security for citizens, and protect property, public interest, and all lawful activities. B. To prevent crime and prevent activities that disturb the security of citizens and state. C. To work on detention of offenses, stop unlawful conduct, and pursue cases in accordance with what is prescribed by the Criminal Procedure Act or other laws. D. To facilitate the streets of citizens as appropriate and to assist them in cases of danger. E. To provide protection and or assistance to the authorities in performance of their functions in accordance with the instructions of law or practice as necessary. F. To cooperate with other authorities and agencies with tasks related to functions of police. G. To perform other tasks assigned to it by law or by custom. Ministry of Justice, 1996. This is what they consider the role of a police officer. And in Article 9, it shows the police powers, holders of police power. The National Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioner of Police District Prosecutor, Deputy District Prosecutor, Commissioner of Police, Deputy Chief of Police in the Capital Region and in the South, legal representative of the Sheriff's Department and police officers exercise powers. Ministry of Justice, 1996. These powers protect the people and the officers who enforce them. Icelandic training and recruitment. The training and recruitment for the Iceland police is different from Canada and the US. Police must train for at least 2 years, during which they would attain a police science diploma. And when it comes to the physical training, the training program includes both theoretical and practical components, with a focus on physical fitness, firearms training, and self-defense techniques. The physical fitness component of training programs is designed to ensure that officers are capable of performing their duties effectively and safely. It includes a variety of exercises such as running, swimming, and weightlifting. World Population Review 2023. They also had to make sure they qualified for admissions to the college. Applications must be Icelandic citizens aged between 20 and 35, in good mental health, good physical health, have completed 2 years of post-secondary school, have good language skills, a driving license, be able to swim, and have a clean criminal record. Crime rates in Iceland. Iceland is well known for being one of the safest countries in the world. In such a small country, not too much crime occurs. The country has one of the lowest murder rates in Europe, and only 5 people were killed on the island in 2020. However, Iceland has a high rate of reported cases of sexual violence compared to other European countries. The most common offenses committed in Iceland, though, are traffic offenses and penal violations. There were some alcohol-related offenses, but a low number, especially for the time of the COVID pandemic. There is also around 3,500 thefts, 1,749 drug offenses registered, and very minimal homicides. The rate and statistics for 2021 was 0.54 at 60.39% decline from 2020. Use of force. The use of force options in Iceland are the same options around the world. They use the National Use of Force Options Framework. The wheel, as you can see. And they are allowed to use it, but they're not allowed to use excessive force, as with any country. They should not use excessive force. They do, however, only have a baton and pepper spray on them. They do not carry guns in Iceland. In Article 14 of the police law, we see use of force. Holders of police authority may use force to perform in the performance of their duties. However, they may never go farther in the exercise of force than it is necessary at any given time. Ministry of Justice, 1996. This is quite interesting because they are allowed to use force, but they do not have the ability to perform excessive force or lethal force. They do, however, have a special weapons tactic team that are trained in firearms. And they are called the Viking Squad. The unit acts as an intervention unit in any cases where opponents use firearms and the regular police are not capable of dealing with the situation. The unit acts for all Iceland and its territorial waters, as well as special duties such as VIP protection force is used by police only as a last resort. And before doing so, they have to try every other means of disarming people or using persuasion to make them desist from what they propose to do. A number of policemen have received special training in negotiating techniques for this purpose, and they are called in cases involving weapons and where there is a threat to human life. The team is also trained in riot control. Gu Johnson, 2005, page 10 to 11. So this pretty much states that they have ways to use force, but they don't ever want to use them because it can hurt somebody else. In conclusion, or in short, Iceland is a well-enforced country with a deep history of changing from the crown to civil servants to the law enforcement they have today. The police powers in Iceland are different from Canadian police powers, and they have their own police act, or the police law, that allow the officers in Iceland to train and prepare them to become an officer in their country, where they have to have proper education, where the crime rates are low and the use of force options are similar to ours but different at the same time. What an amazing country. Here are my references, and here are my image links. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.